I'm not convinced it ain't no acting or accident what the track emits. You strapped with gas that you ain't even practiced with. The fact is, you couldn't hit the...
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. Today we're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw. Is it still Monday Night Raw? Is it really still Monday Night Raw? Because it doesn't feel like it. It feels like 3 hours of, well, I'm not going to say 3 hours of NXT. I'm not going to say that. It doesn't seem that bad, but it is getting kind of geeky in here. You know, it's getting kind of nerdy, dog. You know, getting real WrestleCon, like a convention in here all of a sudden. Anyway, it was from August 22nd, 2022. Let's get into this thing. Well, got a couple of notes. First note, the Women's Tag Team Championships is absolutely cursed. Gigi Dolan gets injured and Toxic Attraction has to pull out of the tournament. So now you've got a fatal four-way match, which is absolutely disturbing. I don't care who wins. It's just sad that Gigi Dolan got injured because I think Toxic Attraction were the favorites. And I don't see why we just couldn't slide Mandy in that spot. I know that maybe you don't want to do it because maybe Toxic Attraction wasn't going to win. But I don't know. Just slide Mandy in the spot, you know? Just whatever. We'll talk more about the women's tag team titles. Yes, we do. You gotta talk about it. Talk about it later. So Conrad Thompson also filed a trademark for Southwest Championship Wrestling. So this is important because Conrad has been trying to get, this last match thing. He's trying to make it a series. He bought the trademark for Jim Crockett Promotions when he did the Jim Crockett Promotions one last match for Ric Flair. Apparently he did it in conjunction with, the Living Crockett. I'm trying to remember his name, but it's skipping me right now. So is it David? Is it David Crockett? Yeah, David. So, now he's moving on to Southwest Championship Wrestling, which was owned by the Blanchard family. This would be Tully Blanchard's father, Joe, who owned the San Antonio territory. The idea of, a lot of people think that Conrad is going to start his own wrestling promotion. I think that when you look at him trademarking Southwest Championship Wrestling, he's probably trying to do another last match thing, but for somebody else who's also very old. I don't know who that would be. Would it be Tully? I don't know. Why would it be Tully? That's one thing. Like, I guess that would be the natural thing, considering Southwest Championship Wrestling was owned by his dad. That would be the natural thing, but I don't see why that would be the case. Tully is he's not as old as Flair was, but he is about as feeble, But a lot of people are afraid that Conrad Thompson is going to start his own wrestling promotion. I'm not going to be too concerned with it, especially with the news that Jeff Jarrett is out and his executive position in WWE, and Road Dogg is in. So Road Dogg has finally landed somewhere. God bless Road Dogg. I know he was not happy sitting on the bench all that time, but now ought to be fun. Ought to be fun to have old Road Dogg doing whatever Road Dogg does. I mean, apparently he's going to be reporting to Bruce Pritchard and probably also chipping in on creative. So it didn't take long for Triple H to get Jarrett out of there, and get his boy back in. According to Road Dogg himself, Triple H has always gone to bat for him. So this ought to be an interesting run that we're on here. Final note, I've been seeing a lot of discussions about Randy Orton. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about him a lot, but what I did see is that some people think that it's kind of the end for Randy. That this back injury is more serious than people thought it was. And because it's more serious than people thought it was, it might hinder his ability to continue. So some people are saying his career is pretty much over as of right now anyway, but it hasn't been announced yet. There's also some talk that he may make a return, but it's only going to be a short return. So it's just some whispers that's going on out there. It's all could be conjecture. Nobody knows what the hell. Unless you're Randy Orton's doctor, you don't have any idea the status of Randy Orton's back. But they have toned down the references to Randy Orton on TV. They don't even talk about him much anymore. So that kind of leaves the question about what's going on with Randy. And, I hope that it's not as bad as everyone's saying it is. And if it is and he has to retire, hopefully he can get one more match at WrestleMania against an opponent of his choosing. I don't know who that would be. But hopefully he would get one more match before he has to sit down. Now, I want to talk about this right here because really, where else am I going to talk about it? Mike Tyson has been very upset at Hulu for the biography that they're going to be doing on his life. He's been very, very upset about it. Now, when I saw the commercial for it, I was giddy. I was very excited because I was like, oh shit, they're doing a documentary, not a documentary, but a biopic on Iron Mike Tyson. This is going to be awesome. And then I went to Mike Tyson's Twitter account, and he was very mad about it. Here's what he said. Hulu tried to desperately pay my brother Dana White millions without offering me $1 to promote their slave master takeover story about my life. He turned it down because he honors friendship. Because he honors friendship and treating people with dignity. I'll never forget what he did for me. What? That's like, I'll never forget what Hulu stole from me. Hulu stole my story. They're Goliath and I'm David. Heads will roll for this. Hey, at Hulu, I'm not a nigger you can sell on the auction block. Hashtag slavery is over. Hashtag fuck Hulu. Hulu's model of stealing life's rights and celebrities is egregiously greedy. Hashtag heads will roll. So there's some people who are very upset. Someone should get fired from Hulu. Producers were lying to my friends, saying I supported the unauthorized series about my life. Yes. Now he's also got to change that org. Oh, this is for something different. I'm getting the fuck out of here. So Mike Tyson is not very happy about the biopic, the bio series, or however it's going to go on his life. He's not very happy about it. I hate to tell Mike Tyson, but we're probably going to have to watch it. I don't have Hulu, so I'm probably going to have to sail the high seas. But I'm probably going to watch that joint. That I hate to put it to you, bruh. I'm probably going to have to watch it, Mike. You the GOAT, but that's why I got to watch it. I watch quite a few biopics. Sometimes you just got to see how it turns out. Even if it's an absolute nightmare, sometimes you got to see how it turns out. And since I had nowhere else to talk about that, I decided to bring it here. So it is what it is. Mike Tyson's in the WWE Hall of Fame. That's how I justify putting Mike Tyson right here. All right, so we start Monday Night Raw with the brawl of Riddle and Rollins, and they're brawling all over the place, throwing hockey punches at each other. They brawl into the crowd a little bit. They tease Rollins being thrown over the banister before they brawl to the back. The whole time they're trying to be separated by security guards and officials and whatever. And then after that's over, we don't see these guys again for the rest of the evening. That's it. They're gone for the night. This was their segment of the evening. It was like, and cut. Now we go on to the rest of the show. Look, I appreciate that you want to start the show hot. I can appreciate that. But for Christ's sake, keep up the momentum. There's some spots here that definitely could have benefited from Rollins or Riddle having something to say on this show about what took place earlier. There was just room on this show for that, by the way. So we opened the show officially, with Trish Stratus, who is talking about how great it is to be in home, not just in Toronto where she lives, but also in between those ropes. And home will always be in between those ropes. The fans are chanting one more match at Trish. She, smiles and says she has been considering, something, and then she gets interrupted by Bayley and her group. Bayley and her group said that they're huge fans. EO spoke in Japanese, to which Bayley interpreted it, and then they asked, what is she doing here? Trish said she's here to see Edge. Dakota Kai said that they don't care about Trish Stratus and they don't care about Edge. And then EO says that she doesn't like Trish. Bayley cackles a little bit. So they're tired of Trish Stratus riding their coattails. She's been riding their coattails all weekend, following them around Canada. Then Bianca Belair came out there, said that Trish is a legend and Toronto is her city. She can do whatever she wants. Then Trish told Bayley that she needs to stop running her mouth, or she can go from I am retired to I was retired, which I thought was a great line. Bayley, of course, brags about the numbers. It's 3 of them, only 2 of them. Then out comes Alexa Bliss and Asuka, to which Bayley backed down. So the opening segment was fine. It was fine. I think every week on both Raw and SmackDown, since Triple H took over, the women have started the show. I think every single week. I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm saying it's a pattern that I noticed. You know, make of it as you will, you know. But when you don't have a running thread throughout the show, even though they tried to create one here, because this wasn't the only time Bayley and Trish were in each other's faces tonight. Still a little weird. All right, so we got the first match, Asuka and Alexa Bliss versus Io Sky and Dakota Kai. The crowd immediately went to sleep and was like, oh, okay. And this match was, I don't know, it was too long. I can guarantee you that it was too long. Asuka was throwing spinning back fists, and man, if you got bad hand-eye coordination, let's say you're a blind dude playing baseball, the amount of space between you and the ball, if you were blind playing baseball, that's how much space was between Asuka and those spinning back fists sometimes when she threw them. I mean, they weren't even in the same arena, let alone anywhere near the face. She was, trusting her opponent to sell it. And Io was selling them, even though they weren't making contact. But Dakota Kai didn't really know what to do. She didn't really know what to do. Because Asuka's throwing wild back fists, and she's just spinning around. And Dakota Kai's like, okay, whatever, I'll go with it. This match is entirely too long. Alexa Bliss had an interview recently, and she said she feels like she's boring on TV, but she hasn't figured out how she's going to evolve her character. And you know what? She wasn't wrong. She is boring as hell on TV right now. She got nothing going for her. She's hanging around a second stringer in this feud, and it seems to be, and they lost this match. So Io Sky and Dakota Kai win. I did like the finish though. Io tagged herself in without Asuka knowing. Then Asuka gets the Asuka lock on Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai taps out. Asuka thinks she's won, and then Io rolls her up from behind and pins her. Good finish. I like that. The match itself was a snoozer, though. It was just too long. Again, nobody knows who Dakota and Io are. You have to take your time before throwing them out there in these long-ass matches. This wasn't the only time we saw them tonight, though. Aliyah was watching on the monitors because she's going to be a part of the second chance Fatal 4-Way match with, they're going to fight the winners because Raquel and Aaliyah did actually win. So the teams are going to be all the teams that were eliminated so far. So Doudrop and Nikki, Sonya Deville and Natalya, Xia Li and Shotzi. And there's another team. I think it was it Dana Brooke and Tamina? Yeah, I think it was Dana Brooke and Tamina. It's disgusting. And I'm guessing they're going to do both of those matches on SmackDown. They're going to do the last chance Fatal 4-Way and then the semifinal match. Because I think the finals are supposed to be next week on Raw. I think that's what they're going for, is for the finals to be next week on Raw. So, that's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of women's wrestling on that show, man. Anyway, Aliyah was watching. She's from Toronto, so that's why she was there. Apparently, Raquel Gonzalez, or Rodriguez, or whatever the hell we're calling her now. Apparently, she's of the unvaccinated variety. Therefore, she's not in Canada. And she was getting bullied by Bayley for showing up by herself. And Bayley asked her if she was taking notes. And that they will become the women's tag team champions. That she's either brave or stupid to show up alone. Trish Stratus said, who says she's alone? And then Aliyah challenged Bayley to a match and asked if Bayley was even well enough to have a match. Bayley didn't say much of anything, but just agreed to have the match. And then Aliyah versus Bayley, they had a match later on, to which Bayley won it with the rose plant. And I just wrote down, why is this match so long? And some people are like, oh, it was only 5 or 6 minutes. I'm like, man, are you what? This match felt like it was forever. And the crowd did not care, because even though Aaliyah's from Toronto, they don't know her. They've never seen her before. They don't know what she's doing. They don't know her stuff. They don't know her. And they got her doing wheelbarrow bulldogs to Bayley on the floor. Like she's a jobber. Come on, Trips. What are you doing? Aliyah is a jobber. Why is she even getting significant amounts of offense on Bayley? No. This is not 1980s World Championship Wrestling, Triple H. This is WWE Monday Night Raw. Would I have rather seen a Miz TV segment than this? Hell yeah. I would have rather seen a Miz TV segment. That's my new barrier of, whether that shit sucked or not, or whether I lost interest. Would I rather see a Miz TV segment than whatever because that's what Vince was spamming in Miz TV segments, okay? It was pretty much every week at some points that the Miz would get a TV segment. Even when he had nothing to promote or nothing to talk about. It was always put somebody out there who could be entertaining for a couple of minutes and who can get the crowd amped up for a couple of minutes. Would I rather have seen a Miz TV segment or Aliyah versus Bayley? I would have rather seen a Miz TV segment. I think most people would agree. Would have rather seen the Miz TV segment than watch. And it look, Aliyah, she might be, who knows, the next leader. I don't know. But right now, she's not over. And investing a lot of TV time into her really doesn't make much sense. Even if it's 6 or 7 minutes. Bayley should have been reestablished immediately. Even if she had to cheat and attack Aliyah from behind, she should have just scooped her up, belly to belly, or the rose plant, or whatever she was going to do for a finish, and pinned her, and that was it. Trying to make this in any way competitive was a disservice to Bayley. It's the simplest mistake that AEW keeps making. Trying to make every match competitive. Not every week needs to be a pay-per-view, man. You don't need to have a pay-per-view every week. Sometimes you just need to get somebody over. Get in, get somebody over, and get out. That's all you got to do. It's literally that simple. You can have a couple of good matches on the show with some time to them. You did that 2 or 3 times here. Didn't need this match. You could have put a Miz TV segment on here, okay? All right, so that was it for the ladies in terms of their TV time. But it was interesting. It was interesting because now we know that Toxic Attraction, the team everybody liked, is being taken out. And we got a little bit of heat for Bayley and Trish Stratus. I don't think we'll ever have to do anything with that. But, it exists. They had to do a segment. I really don't think Bayley is being best served in this role that she's in. I think that she is trying to get these other two over, and it's becoming a bit of a daunting task because they don't have the ability to talk for themselves. And maybe Dakota Kai does because at least she speaks English. But Io, I'm not sure. And maybe even Io by herself would work. But because Io, at least she got the crowd rocking when she would do something on offense in the tag match because she has very dynamic Rey Mysterio-like offense. But Dakota Kai, I don't know, man. I'm not so sure it's working this way. All right, next, Dolph Ziggler is here. He talked about having highs and lows, and he just wanted to help Theory. And the kid's a little too cocky. He was too confident. He's got too much going on. Finn Balor didn't interrupt it. He's back to being miserable, saying that he heard it all before, that Dolph Ziggler and all these guys come out here talking about respect the veterans, when all the veterans want to do is leech off the young talent. And Dolph Ziggler was like, wait, ain't we the same age? Then as it's sunk in, because pretty much everybody who listened to Finn Balor ramble about Everybody's like, Dolph's like 43. Didn't you just turn like 42? Anyway, Dolph smacked the shit out of him. Balor takes a pretty good bump on the floor. And then Dolph Ziggler says, like, are you done? Are you going to keep sitting on your ass? Or, like a bitch? Or are you going to come out here and have this match? So we had Dolph Ziggler versus Finn Balor. Excellent match. This was awesome. Probably too long, but at least they added some heat to this match before they really got into it. Not much heat, but they added some heat to it before they got into it. But this match was tremendous. Finn Balor kicked out of the zigzag, which is one of Ziggler's finishers, which is pretty cool. I was not feeling the new Finn Balor theme. I don't like it. I can tell already they're moving away from the original, from the Judgment Day theme. They're stripping it. It was cool. It was only for a moment though. So now they're going to generic rock song, and this sucks. Why not go back to his NXT theme? What was wrong with his NXT theme? There was nothing wrong with it. I don't understand why we have to change people's, theme songs just because they turn heel. For fuck's sake, it's okay for him to have the same theme song even as a heel. Under, extreme circumstances. If you're going from the Hulkster to Hollywood Hogan, maybe you don't need I'm a Real American as a theme song. Or American Made. Maybe you don't need that as a theme song. But ultimately, Finn Balor is not that much different in Judgment Day than he would have been if he was just the Prince. So why not just go back to his original theme song? I know he had it for a long time. He had it for 6 years. But that's also why we should keep it. I don't know, man. Maybe they figured different presentation, different theme song, but this song sucks. So anyway, Rhea Ripley is with him. She cold cocked Dolph Ziggler one good time. They're really doing a thing where Rhea is going to get her heat by attacking men. So they're treating her like China. She is not wrestling, but she is manhandling smaller men and kind of guys that is sort of believable that if she hit them, they would feel it. And I'm not against it. Rhea is a big girl. Is she big and bulky like China? No, she's not. But she doesn't have to be. I think that with her aggressiveness and her fierceness, it works. And I think it has been working. It's been one of the stronger suits of the Judgment Day is how Rhea has been presented. So that was good. Dolph Ziggler wins with the coup de grace. Dolph Ziggler losing sucks for him, but at least I like Finn Balor. So Finn Balor wins. That makes me smile. He's not a jobber anymore. Thank you. Clearly they're building something for Finn Balor. He's going to probably lose to Edge at the pay-per-view. But at least he's not losing on TV in random matches anymore. But, of course, that was not the end for Judgment Day. They cut a promo later. Well, Rhea said that they run Monday Night Raw, and they're just going to keep beating people up until everybody knows it. Then Finn Balor said that they've been beating up the Mysterios. They've been beating up Dominic so much, he's starting to enjoy it. Then said he keeps Ray in his front pocket. Ray is 6'1" mine, which I think is funny. Then Damian Priest talked about this is the end for Edge. He's going to embarrass him in front of his hometown and retire him, which was great. This leads us to the main event of the evening, Damian Priest versus Edge. I immediately said to myself, okay, what's the over and under on Edge getting hurt in this match? Especially if this match goes more than 10 minutes. Is Edge, a body part, some random body part, he's going to come back with a fractured eyelash or some shit. And, because every time Edge has to wrestle a serious match now, he's tearing something, he's breaking something, and it's just not looking good for him. But I would have liked for Edge to have a promo. They did have a vignette, which was a pretty good vignette for this match, where it was basically told the story of this is Edge versus a monster that he created, which I think was, awesome little, catch to it. I would have started the show with that vignette. instead of that brawl, and maybe put the brawl somewhere else, or started the show with that vignette, still did the brawl, but then had Rollins or Riddle cut a promo later. But this match was pretty good. Damian Priest, what they did for Damian Priest, where they gave him his NXT theme, but it's freaked out a little bit. It's a little bit darker. Why didn't they do that for Finn Balor? That's what I want to know. Why not? They gave Damian Priest his theme back, just with a little modified. Do the same thing for Finn Balor. All right, just modify his NXT theme to be a little bit darker. So, as promised, this match was one-on-one, just the two of them. Not as promised, this match did not have limited commercials. This match had hella fucking commercials. And I was getting frustrated because I kept being told, oh, this match is going to have limited commercial breaks. Like, what? 40% of the fucking match was in commercial. And this match was long. 40% of this fucking match was in commercial. I was furious at that. But still, the match was very good. Some of the spots were in weird places. For instance, the powerbomb on the barricade. Good spot, great spot. A little early in the match, though. You know, like they did it very early in the match. Just like the Razor's Edge through the table. Again, very early in the match. You know, they did of course, it was interesting in terms of that was how they killed Evil Edge when they Razor's Edge them through a table. And of course, you can't kill Good Edge with it. But maybe we should have saved that for near the end. You know, I think it may have fit better near the end. But early on, Edge was playing mind games. They was telling the story about what did Damian Priest learn from Edge. And hopefully he didn't learn how to color his hair from Edge, because that hair coloring on Edge made him look really weird. Somehow it made him look even older. I don't know how they did it, but it made him look older. It made him look older. But Edge is out here doing his best. You know, whether his best match in the world, no. Was it Damian Priest's best match? No. Was it a good match between these two guys and a good main event for this show? Absolutely. It felt like a pay-per-view quality match that they dumped a lot of commercials in. That's what it felt like, especially since they built it up over the course of several weeks. Now, Beth Phoenix was sitting out in the crowd, which let us know something was about to happen that's going to involve her. But it didn't happen immediately. Edge broke out some of the wildest shit in the world. He did a top rope Hurricane Rana. He also did a Canadian Destroyer. I was like, what the fuck? Edge has been infested with the NXT virus. He has been infested with the NXT virus. Now, I'm going to give him a pass because the man is almost 50. And it really just kind of shows that he's still... That's how you prove you still got it. Got to have some gray in your beard. Got to have some gray in your hair. And be able to do a top rope Hurricane Rana or a Canadian Destroyer. At that point, everybody can chant, you still got it. And you won't feel too bad about still being out there at 50. But I forgot to mention, Edge got his own theme back, which is great. You know, they never should have changed it in the first place. Even though I did like his new theme, the Judgment Day theme, I love that. I listened to that song like 100 times in a row to really get the message of it. I loved it. You know, the fact that it was short term, it's WWE, man. Damian Priest buffed out the Predator, which I laughed at. Edge actually chokeslammed Damian Priest, which was very weird. They did a ref bump, which was necessary. It was a necessary ref bump to get to the South of Heaven by Damian Priest, and it was a near fall where it was a visual pin. Damian Priest had Edge beat. Then he went and got a chair. He tried to do a one-man concerto. That didn't work out. Edge then broke the chair, took the bar, put it in his mouth. I love that spot where he yanks back on the neck with the bar. That's a great visual. It's very dramatic too. It really lends itself to the visual storytelling of the guy being able to sell with his face. So they got that great shot going for him. Then Edge was going for the spear. Damian Priest bashed him in the head with the little bar from the chair. Still didn't get the pinfall though. Ended up getting hit with a Canadian Destroyer and a spear for the win. So Edge wins. He wins clean, relatively clean. He didn't, hit him with a foreign object or anything like that. But he did kind of wrench his neck with the bar. Even after the match, Edge went to get the chair to do a concerto on Damian Priest. He was stopped immediately by Rhea Ripley hitting him in the balls with her forearm. Then the Judgment Day jumped Edge. They beat him up. Then they were going to give him a concerto when Beth Phoenix snatched the chair, got into the ring, and chased them off. So they got scared of a MILF with a chair. It was a good finish, I think. I liked the match, really enjoyed the match. I would have expected something else to bring for Beth when she comes out there. I would have expected something else, maybe for Rhea to really be getting involved and for Beth to have to jump the barricade and get in. And they kind of did that, but they did it at the end. They did it after the match. I would have expected they do it during the match, where maybe after the ref bump, that's when Rhea was going to come in. And then Beth would have to jump into the ring from there. But they waited until after the match, which, that's fine. They gave the men the entire spotlight, and then they gave the hero spot to Beth Phoenix. And I just kept thinking, as she was standing there like, come on, come on. I was saying to myself, if Vince Russo was booking this is the part where she hits Edge with the chair. I'll never forget what she did when he booked Kimberly to turn on DDP, and I still don't know the reason why that happened. Does anybody know why that happened? Please enlighten me. I remember watching that and saying to myself, you know what? Vince Russo just loves to swerve. He put it in his veins, man. He's addicted to the swerve. Because that shit made no fucking sense. But this actually does. Apparently they're going to go somewhere with this Beth Phoenix thing. It's probably going to be Beth Phoenix versus Rhea Ripley, if not a mixed tag match of some kind. In any event, that sounds like it might be fun, regardless of how it shakes out. So Beth Phoenix got to save her husband. Great spot, good match, great spot. I enjoyed it. Alpha Academy. So they did a little promo segment for Chad Gable, which was very good. He got to come out there and say that for the first time since its inception, Alpha Academy will be searching for new students. And he began his search here in Canada. It only found toothless, washed out hockey players hooked on Tim Hortons. They mentioned some guy named Austin Matthews. I have no idea who that is. They called him a geek, though. But the whole point of this whole thing was it's going to be an Alpha Academy Open Challenge, to which nobody answered initially before Kevin Owens answered the challenge. And I was like, okay, Kevin Owens versus Chad Gable. Interesting. I'm more interested in Alpha Academy looking for new students. Again, I said it during my NXT thing. The Creed brothers, Damon Kemp, they are perfect for Alpha Academy. I don't know who they're going to put in Alpha Academy now, because it's got to be somebody. They're going to be calling up some people, no doubt. So hopefully it is the Creed brothers and Damon Kemp. They're going to bring in Alpha Academy. And I love that they're expanding it. It's been about time. Alpha Academy has been around for a year, right? And it's just been the two of them. It's definitely time to add more people to this group. And it's definitely time for them to do fun stuff. Like, what was that silly shit they were doing on Rated RKO? Like the spelling bee and all that kind of stuff. Like, that shit was great. That shit, it was ridiculous, but it was great. Like, we need to go back to doing stuff like that to really emphasize the characters of Alpha Academy and reestablish them for people who might be seeing them for the first time. Of course, Chad Gable still calling himself Master Gable, which I like. So Kevin Owens versus Chad Gable was a lengthy match in which every German suplex looked like somebody's about to break their goddamn neck or shoulder blade or something. And I was just kind of like, why are these dudes doing this to each other? More importantly, why is Kevin Owens taking ring apron bumps from Chad Gable? Why are you doing this? You're supposed to be a commodity, sir. Watch your spine. Respect your spine a little bit. This is one of those matches where Chad Gable is, I don't know if he's high enough on the card for you to take big bumps from him. He's a guy you do not long with. This felt like it was going on longer than I thought it would. But now that Kevin Owens is essentially a babyface, and since he was in Canada anyway, he's going to get a babyface reaction. This worked out. I didn't hate this. Kevin Owens wins with the pop-up powerbomb. He kind of gone back to his pop-up powerbomb finish. And I'm pretty sure this spins out of, people attacking him on Twitter for using the stunner. He's one part of the Cupcake Guild. He gets very upset at people on Twitter. I think he got mad the other day because somebody called him a fat ass or something. So here it is. Brad Shepard is the one who called him a fatty. Brad Shepard on August the 8th tweeted out, "What a disgrace it is to see lazy fat sack of shit Kevin Owens being presented like he's fucking Goldberg on Raw because he's Paul's boy. He looks like a prize eater, not a prize fighter." Then somebody says that he's body shaming Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens says, "I blocked that little bitch a long time ago. He never got over it. That's why he does this. If he met me in person, he'd kiss my ass and call me brother to try and feel like he's one of the boys. There's 100 like him out there. It is a mess." Brad Shepard. He kind of asked for it. I don't like Bubba Ray Owens either. Bam Bam Owens, King Kong Owens, I'm not a fan. I admit I'm not on the train for liking that guy. So I'm okay with what Brad Shepard said. But I don't think he's being presented as like he's Goldberg. I think he's being presented in a more intense light, which is good. But I don't think he's going to steamroll anybody. And he didn't steamroll Chad Gable, and he probably should have. That's just me, though. But it seems like we're actually going to do something with this because now he's feuding with a tag team. So Kevin Owens, after he defeats Chad Gable with the pop-up powerbomb, Otis attacks him from behind. It's a short fight scene before this guy beats up both members of Alpha Academy by himself and kind of makes the escape. But he's going to need a tag team partner, and maybe that's where we're going to find we're going to lead to him teaming up with Sami Zayn, because now he's going to need a partner to help fight Alpha Academy. Because they're definitely going to go back to this, right? Aren't they? But hopefully the Alpha Academy new recruits are fun, and we could do fun stuff with them. Fun outside the ring stuff, because sometimes, these matches kind of drag, especially when there's so many of them on the show. Speaking of so many of them on the show, AJ Styles and Lashley are a tag team. They're teaming up to wrestle The Miz and Ciampa. Ciampa's theme is actually not bad. I listened to it. They posted it on the website, on the YouTube. And it's actually not bad. It never really gets started in the arena before it gets cut off by The Miz. But if you listen to it on the themes, it's actually not bad. So Ciampa is still wearing lime green, just like The Miz. Lashley and AJ Styles are a partnership. It's certainly still a thing. This match was very long. It was very long. But that hot tag for Bob, my goodness. The crowd melted when Bobby Lashley came in for the hot tag. I liked that. That was awesome. I also liked the grabbing of AJ Styles from the crowd, because Styles was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "The gay community?" But it wasn't the gay community. He didn't grab AJ Styles and try to cart him away. Instead, it was a pump fake. That guy got grabbed and taken away by security. On the other side of the ring, The Miz is kind of smiling and laughing at AJ Styles when he gets snatched off by Dexter Lumis. Dexter Lumis had a copy. He had a decoy who attracted all the security guys so that he can snatch The Miz. And he has now kidnapped grown man Miz and dragged him away in front of God and the rest of the world. And this was an immediate disqualification, which is the right thing to do. So I was kind of hot that this match was so long and ended in disqualification. I was kind of mad about that. At the same time, though, the decoy Dexter Lumis spot was great. I like that. I don't think a lot of people knew who Dexter Lumis was, but they had did a decent job of building him up for the last couple of weeks. Earlier in the evening, they had did a spot where Adam Pearce is walking around with security looking for, suspicious characters backstage. So it wasn't completely, out of nowhere. It looked like they kind of knew he was coming this week. And he knew they were going to be looking for him. So it's a classic cat and mouse game. So eventually now Dexter Lumis is a mute character. Unless they're going to give him the ability to talk, I really want to know why he's been stalking The Miz and what's going on with him and The Miz. Hopefully we get to that point. But they've now kind of effectively eliminated The Miz from his story with Ciampa because he's gone now. He's gone bye-bye unless he pops back up, next week like nothing happened. But I guess we'll see. AJ and Lashley continue to beat the brakes off of Ciampa even though he was by himself. And the crowd kind of got a kick out of it. Kind of. So that was all's well that ends well. Ciampa got beat up again. Oh well. But I did like the spot. Dexter Lumis snatching The Miz was awesome TV. It was smart too, because again, Dexter Lumis was prepared for that. Now, why he unmasked, why he did it, like he took the helmet off so slow instead of just snatching him and going, which probably would have been a lot better, but still, you got somewhat of a pop for him coming out there. All right, so now we got to get to our dork segment. Johnny Gargano's theme is playing, and I'm not paying attention because I'm like, what was I doing? I was eating pineapple slices or something like pineapple spears. I love pineapple spears. They're phenomenal. Besides the fact that they make my mouth feel funny afterwards, and I can't drink water, and I love drinking water. So it's like really weird that, I eat these pineapple spears and I can't drink water afterwards because the water tastes funny. Because there's a weird flavor to the pineapple. So I love pineapple spears. Anyway, I'm not paying attention. And I hear the claps and everything. And I talk about the claps in his theme song. And I'm like, that sounds familiar. I look at the screen and it's fucking Johnny Gargano. And I'm looking like, oh no. Oh. It just immediately felt weird. I was like, oh, fuck. Goodness. Damn it. I knew it was going to happen, but goddamn. So, Gargano gets in the ring. He soaks up the adulation of the people who actually know who he is, which isn't everybody, by the way. Praise God. Praise God, Canada doesn't know who this fucking guy is. But enough people knew for him to get a pretty decent pop. He then said that he's not sure he wanted to do this after, taking so much time off. He says he had these big impossible dreams of being an Intercontinental Champion, United States Champion, wrestling at WrestleMania, and maybe even being a WWE Champion. And he said that, but what kind of father would I be if I didn't show my son that even the most impossible dreams can and do come true? And that was the only time that I actually kind of felt a twinkle of liking for Johnny Gargano, because that's some inspirational shit. I'm going to give him some credit for that. He's a dork. He's a midget. I'm pretty sure that kid's not his. But that's a great message. All right? That's a great fucking message. And yes, that is something that a father should be able to show his son. And he said the last time he was there, he said that you never lose if you bet on yourself. And so he's back because he's betting on himself. And I was like, okay. He came in, he explained who he was to people who didn't know who he was. He then caught us up on what he's been doing. He left the company. He was being a father. He's got a 6-month-old son or something like that. And he explained why he was coming back. Great. Okay, good. From a storytelling perspective, it's all set up. We got the inciting incident. He had a major life event. His child was born. This led to him wanting to leave a legacy, or if not, just to inspire his son when the little boy grows older, and hopefully it's not much of a dork and a nerd as his daddy is, and to be able to say to his son that he tried. Maybe he didn't get there, but to say that he tried, I can respect that. And then what I criticized AEW for not doing when CM Punk came out there, WWE did it by sending Theory out there. So this was excellent. Theory comes to the ring. He's carrying the Money in the Bank briefcase, he got all these dents in it and everything. And this is in line with what Shawn Michaels said on social media, or in an interview rather, that they're going to change how people are brought up. That they're no longer changing people's names and gimmicks and stuff when they come up. They're going to try now have NXT canon be part of the main roster canon. So now they will be acknowledging that NXT exists, that storylines and character stuff that happened in NXT will also be canon to the main roster. So it's not a reboot anymore when you come up to the main roster. And they thought that it would be smoother sailing. Of course, this just means that the NXT stories never end. And now this stuff just goes on and on and on. And it's hard for people to follow if they don't watch NXT. But it might incentivize them to watch NXT, because they might say, well, I may see this guy on Raw. And it's going to be the same guy. It's not going to be a different guy, But, okay. I'll give him some credit for this. So Theory comes out there. He says, look, you've been gone for 9 months. A lot has happened in 9 months. He says, I've been the youngest United States champion of all time, youngest Money in the Bank winner of all time, already wrestled at WrestleMania. A lot of the things that you said, I've already done them. And this is why I like this segment, because Theory came out there and was like, oh, yes, you got all these dreams. And yeah, I did all that stuff already. What you were dreaming about doing, I've done some of that stuff already. And I have the Money in the Bank briefcase, so I'm probably going to be world champion before you. And set up that, maybe Johnny Gargano is going to be a little bit jealous, or he's trying to force some jealousy. And then he says, well, I couldn't have done any of this without you. Giving him his credit. I couldn't have done any of this without you, Johnny. Thank you so much. But then it says, well, you just coming up to Raw, congratulations. But it's like I'm the vet now and you're the rookie. And that's where the heat comes in. And he's like, maybe you could carry my bags. Maybe you could carry my briefcase around. And he was like, you know what? Let's do the high five. And people aren't really, again, because NXT has not really been fully represented on the main roster for a long time, there was not a huge reaction for the high five spot. Like as Austin Theory is getting ready for the high five and putting his hand out, Johnny Gargano is also facing the crowd, also facing the hard camera, and he's trying to get the people to respond. Like, don't you guys recognize this? It's like, no. Like, a third of the audience of Raw watches NXT, and then you've been gone for 9 months. So some people who may have known who you were, they kind of like vaguely remember you, right? Out of sight, out of mind, brother. So out of sight, out of mind. So he's got his hand out, and then Johnny Gargano super kicks him to set up the feud. Johnny Gargano, Austin Theory. It's tremendous. This was well done. All right. I don't like Johnny Gargano, if I haven't made that clear yet. But this was well done at the very least. So they come in, they brought Gargano in, they introduced him on the microphone, they told his backstory a little bit. We got to figure out why he's here, what he wants to do. We met his nemesis. They set up that his nemesis is further along in his career than Johnny Gargano is. We also set up that Gargano used to be the Theory's mentor. We told the entire story. We told the entire story in this segment. And now, if you are watching this, you're caught up. You didn't watch NXT. You might be interested in going back and watching it if you cared about this crap. Probably not. But you're caught up. You know that Austin Theory is a dickhead. and he came from NXT, and he was aligned with Johnny Gargano. And now that alignment is not the same anymore because Gargano has had some life-changing events, and Theory has had some life-changing events. But Gargano's life-changing events are real life-changing events. He had a child. While Austin Theory's has been professional. He had this great career run that he's been on. But it's also pretty awesome because Theory was kind of lost without Vince being there. And now they've seemingly replaced Vince with Johnny Gargano, which is, the right thing to do considering Johnny Gargano was replaced by Vince in the first place. So this was great. Again, not a big fan of Johnny Gargano. Not looking forward to him running around in circles, kicking out of everything, doing 400 Canadian destroyers and 600 super kicks on the middle of Monday Night Raw. I am not interested in Young Bucks match on Monday Night Raw. I swear to you that I'm not interested in it. But until it actually happens, I'm willing to cut him some slack. But this was great, and mainly because I like Theory. I thought this was great. Johnny Gargano didn't get to come out there and just rant about his dreams unmolested. Somebody got to come out there and get some heat for interrupting him. Eventually, this stuff will get over because people don't really know who Johnny Gargano is, and Theory is still fairly new himself. He's been around for about a year almost. So it's still going to take some time for people to get used to these two guys. But if you present them as stars, which Johnny Gargano, of course, he's got to stop dressing bummy, that's for sure. He's got to start dressing like a WWE superstar. I'm guessing what Triple H is going to try to do is try to use Gargano as another Danielson, the Bryan Danielson that he actually likes. So I'm pretty sure that's what he's going to do. So surprise, I actually liked the segment. I know somebody's going to think I actually going to hate the segment, but I actually liked it. I enjoyed it. It did the right thing in terms of building future stories. It planted some seeds for future stories. The question I have, though, is Raw got 2 new talents plus a legend in Beth Phoenix, and 2 legends because you got Beth Phoenix and Trish Stratus on this show, while SmackDown seemingly has the weaker roster and the roster that doesn't have as much talent. So you're talking about you kind of got to send Santos Escobar to SmackDown, right? Okay. But then who else goes to SmackDown? Because it seemed like the Alpha Academy is about to get some more guys too. And I know they're about to do a draft soon too. But, Raw is stacked with talent. And SmackDown is very thin on talent, especially when it comes to the women's division on SmackDown. It's abysmal. I was informed, and some people have, suggested to me that the Good Brothers are free agents. And that Tennille Dashwood, who worked in WWE as Emma, is also a free agent. And that the Good Brothers had a good relationship with Triple H, not so much with Vince, but with Triple H. And that maybe they would be interested in coming back. I don't like that idea. I don't like the Good Brothers. And it would be typical Triple H to fill this fucking company full of people I don't like. It'll be fun for you guys. I'm just gonna do shit but rip them. Machine Gun, hot Asian wife want to bring his bum ass back to the WWE. Ain't gonna do shit but tear him apart. So he can do it. He can do as he wishes. If the big LG, wants to get flushed down the toilet for the 5th fucking time in his career, has anybody been fired from WWE more than Luke Gallows? I don't think so. I think he surpassed Bruce Pritchard on this last firing. Fucking guy. Anyway, there's no guarantee they're going to show up. But just saying, I guess the tag team division needs the Good Brothers. I'm pretty sure AJ Styles would be very happy if the Good Brothers were brought back. But I'm not a fan, And I don't think we should be taking the underbelly of Impact and bringing them to WWE. I don't like that idea. I don't like that idea at all. But Emma, now that might be a little bit different. She hasn't been in WWE for a long time. She was one of Triple H's original girls because she was in that original NXT class with Charlotte and Paige and all of them. And she might actually get an opportunity now with Triple H in charge. And that SmackDown division, it sorely needs women. Sorely needs women. My God. Yes, there's more women out injured than I thought. Well, Charlotte is just out. But Carmella is injured. Zelina is injured. There's somebody else that's injured too that I can't think of. Well, Lacey Evans is out. There are some other people who are out too. But that SmackDown division, man, they need talent. They need it bad. And I don't think Tenille Dashwood or Emma is somebody that AEW would really be clamoring for. So I don't know. It's hard because I don't think she would drive her price up by going back and forth between WWE and AEW. If she was to sign with AEW, what's she going to do? Wrestle on Dark, which is exactly what she's, going to do. Maybe they take her tag team that she's been doing with Madison Rayne. Maybe they do that in AEW. But I think that if she's going to continue wrestling, she probably will leverage her relationship with Triple H to get brought back into WWE. So look forward to Emma maybe showing up on SmackDown. And maybe they need that. Maybe they need some fresh blood. That's what the company needs. The company needs for you to bring in somebody sometimes. Maybe you don't need to always bring people up from NXT. Sometimes you just need to bring in somebody who ain't been there in a long time. Somebody who can get a fresh run. And since Emma hasn't been there in a long time, it might help out, at least for a little while, before she dissolves in water and becomes just like everybody else on that fucking brand. But Triple H's Monday Night Raw is becoming a pay-per-view every week. It's becoming just like NXT. It's just excessive matches. Match after match after match. Each match feels like it's 15 to 20 minutes. There's not much in the way of angles. There were fewer vignettes than before this week, but the angles did jump out at you. They were more meaningful because there were fewer of them. But, we kind of needed more character stuff. Again, he treats this place like it's the NWA, I'm talking NWA in the 80s NWA. Like it's Jim Crockett Promotions or some shit. Like this isn't. It's not working. It's not going to work. But I don't know. It hasn't been that long. So I'm going to continue to bite my lip. I'm going to complain when I feel like I need to complain. But until we get to the Royal Rumble, I'm going to button my lips about whether I think Triple H is a success or a failure. The building was sold out. And they did a smart match with Edge and Damian Priest. They built it up to make the match worth watching and make it something that people want to see. So they did that part right. They did that part correct. So that was good. But let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.